Good morning and welcome to this week's Grow, where we gather to recharge, organize, and work here as members of MWAG. We are glad that you have joined us today as we have Catherine Esslinger, who is our director of our Empower Group, to talk to us today about our civic engagement as being poll workers and volunteers during local elections. This isn't a big election year, but some local communities and states have some elections. And so she's going to talk to us about that and how you can sign up to volunteer for that and what it entails. So I'm going to turn the time over to Catherine.
Thank you, Rachel. Yeah, so one of our other MWAG leaders was trying to tease me, and she sent me a message saying, "We have elections this year." Yes, we do have elections this year in many locations. Probably your county, your city, maybe your school board, your local school board. There's a lot of those smaller offices that are up for election on this kind of a year. And your local election office probably needs poll workers this time of year. They're trying to figure out who's going to be able to work the various positions that they have, and they need to fill those rosters. So National Poll Worker Recruitment Day is Tuesday, August 12th. And so there's going to be a big push from a variety of organizations that help to um, recruit poll workers and get people involved in their communities and in democracy on August 12th. That's not the only day that you can be encouraged to volunteer, but that's a big day where you're going to see things on MWAG's social media channels, and you're going to maybe see things on other groups that you follow. So let's talk about what poll workers do, who they are, and what kind of that role entails. So what's interesting is that maybe many of us might think, oh, a poll worker is like some kind of nebulous professional out there. But the truth is that poll workers are you and your neighbors and friends. It's regular people who have a little bit of extra time during an election day, which is often it's a Tuesday. It's not a time when a lot of people are available, but it's a time when a lot of maybe retired people or people who don't have a full-time job during the day, or people who take the day off from their full-time job who want to serve as poll workers. So it is you and me and all of our neighbors around us who are poll workers. And poll workers are trained by the election authority in their area. So I know in my area, the county runs those trainings, and it's maybe 2 hours on one day just prior to election day, where they'll show you the procedures that you'll be following during election day and whatever your role is. These are usually paid positions. And they're paid a sort of a daily stipend or maybe paid hourly. It's not a super huge money making gig, but there is some payment for your time. I also got a little goodie bag the last time I was a poll worker with like some snacks and treats and like a little thank you note and an enamel pin. So we do get appreciation in a variety of ways when we work as poll workers. So there are actually a lot of different roles that a poll worker can do. We might often think of that person who is the face of the poll, who is there to greet you and have you sign the voter log, or to help you get your ballot, or to help you use a voting machine, check your ID. But there are actually a lot of other roles in addition to those public facing roles that you see at a polling location. I know in my county, we have roles at the ballot center, which are on days other than election day, where you might simply be like helping to process ballots, putting them in a machine that will then feed them into a counting machine. There are roles like signature verification in my county, where you'll be matching signatures on ballot envelopes against those that are in the records of that the county has. And there's a lot of training that goes into that, with lots of details about, how does the signature change as people age, or if they have a disability, or other things like that. So that's really interesting work that is on a different schedule than just on election day. And your county may have roles like that. So it's really worthwhile to look and see what is available. I know that we have some other MWAG members who've had other types of roles. Um, Rachel, I don't know who else is here in the grow, but we had a couple of people who've done other roles as poll workers. Stephanie, are you here? Do you want to tell us some of the other roles that you know about in your area?
Sure. So I have done, it depends on how the county or your election administration chooses to organize things. There are some counties that have it down to a science, and others that is you get your little bit of training and then learn on the job. But um, even the person who is checking you in at a computer has to receive very specific training to find the right voter, all of those things. There are the people who will give you your ballot. Sometimes it's right there at the computer. I was involved in I think it was like a hand-to-hand recount. So sometimes if there's a disagreement, and I'm in North Carolina, so there was a judge position that came down to 732 votes. And there was the full manual recount that people had to be called in to do. And then there was the hand-to-hand sample. There's a lot that goes on at the elections office behind the scenes, like you were saying, warehouse situations, ballot, uh, I wouldn't say packing, but they have to give you a certain number of ballots. All of that has to be arranged. The signs, the equipment, especially when you have quick turnarounds. You were talking about phones. We're about to have some county here in North Carolina where they're going to have prime election and then have election day, and then 2 weeks later have the actual municipal election. And so there are people that have to be able to switch the computers, basically like reconfigure all the computers that are in the county. So yeah, there's a lot behind the scenes for sure.
Yeah, that's amazing that and I was also going to talk remembered that many of the roles that I'm aware of, you have to work with a partner so that there is accountability about like monitoring, like every time you move something to a different location, or every time you open something new or you seal it, and there's all this accountability of you sign off and your partner signs off, and you're kind of there's always two people, at least two people, who are kind of involved in every role of transporting things and of moving things around. So like there is a need for a lot of different individuals doing a lot of different jobs as poll workers.
And I would recommend, I had someone who was working the polls and they had been concerned about election integrity and the safety. And once you get in there and you see the triple I mean, so many layers of security that if one person messed with one, the other's going to catch it. Like there are just so many systems in place. And he actually felt better about the election, seeing how, like as an election judge, I don't Gene unless there's someone else from the opposite political party with me. Like we don't even touch anyone's ballots. Seeing all those is good.
Yeah, that's an amazing benefit of being a poll worker, is that you see the way the system is working, and you also have that feeling of understanding and ownership over it, that this is a project that we as citizens are all involved in together, and we can participate and make sure it's done well and participate in that way. So I was a poll worker last year, and I found that it was a super positive experience to be able to work with these other people who were participating, and then also to just be able to greet voters and to see their enthusiasm. Many first time voters were there, many people who hadn't voted in a long time or just were really excited to participate. It was really energizing and positive. I think it was a great experience to like rekindle faith in our constitutional republic and in one another as citizens. So those are some, in addition to any other benefits of, having a little bit of a cool experience where you learn something new, or, getting a little bit of financial uh, compensation. Um, the benefit of like seeing how the system works and participating in it and increasing your confidence is really a big big benefit to me. So as MWEG is, we're participating in this big national recruiting effort, and we have our own special recruiting link where you can go and sign up to be a poll worker. And that once you fill in the information on that link, it is directed to your county, and then your county reaches out to you and says, these are our needs. Can you fulfill any of these needs? So we have a special link that helps us monitor how many people are so we can celebrate how many people we've helped recruit. And that is powerthepolls.com/MWEG. Rachel, maybe you can pop that in the chat, but you will also see that on our social media challenge channels next week when we're doing a lot of our uh, information about how you can participate. So this is how we kind of can measure our impact across the country. Last year, we recruited more than 200 poll workers nationwide. We were so excited to be able to help in that effort. And so when we see those reports of how many people have used our link to sign up, it's really exciting for us to know what kind of an impact we're having. And you don't have to be an MWEG member to use our link. You just have to know about us through MWEG. So whether it's your family members, your neighbors, your cousins, whoever can sign up through our link as well. If you tell them about it, they can sign up through that link. So we really hope that a lot of you will sign up to participate in your local and county elections this year.
Yeah, I put that link in there, and so you're welcome to share it. And sometimes something that I found is that sometimes if it's something new and it's easier to recruit a friend if you say, come and do this with me or sign up with me. So, and I saw Robin Johnson, she put in the chat that in California that they use the buddy system, that there's two people always working together. And so, that's another thing. And I like that she said people who think that there's fraud in elections have not been poll workers. So it's, as Catherine has said in past crows, like it and other people's experiences, this is your front row seat to see how local elections and even federal national elections are run, and how they've put different safety measures or protocols in place to make sure that everything is done fair and honest in those polling locations. Does anybody have any other questions about this for Catherine? If you haven't participated, happy to answer any questions. And there are other grows. If you go central to our grow library, it's scroll down to the video library. We have some past ones with women, other MWEG members who have participated, so you can kind of hear their story and just really the positive experience that a lot of women that are members of MWEG have had being poll workers. Michael Ann said she was a poll worker in 2020. Oh, for college students, that's fun. It's just such a great way to be part of the process and to really, and I don't know, Catherine, maybe would you agree that starting on the local level is kind of like a baby steps, right?
Yeah, it sure is. I mean, local election is probably not going to be as busy as a national election. So you might get your feet wet a little bit. And another thing is that that I thought of is that these elections can't really run without you and me and all of us trying to participate in this way too. So if the counties can't recruit enough people to do the work, then it becomes much more difficult for them to do it. So it's just another reason to participate.
Yeah, a great way. So definitely feel, like Catherine said, you're welcome to share the link that is in the chat. I'll just paste it or post it there one more time. If you go there, you'll see the MWEG logo, and you'll know that you're kind of being registered, just so that it's being tracked as our members register. So thank you, Catherine, for sharing that, and keep an eye out on some of our social media and central posts with a little bit more about this. We would love anybody that's interested to sign up and do that. And then we would love for you to come back and tell us on future, as we are doing voter preparation and different things like that on future grows or in the chats in our different social media areas to encourage other people and share your own experiences there so that we can have more people get involved and volunteer. So it's super helpful to hear positive experiences from people within the organization. So thank you. If there's no other questions, then we will say thanks for joining the Grow today. It's nice and short, and we would invite you to join us next week. And as we have some guest growth coming up in the next couple of weeks and an update from our executive director. So keep an eye out for those upcoming grows in the next few weeks. Me? No?
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, the internet kind of went wonky on me. There are just a couple of experiences that I've had that I wanted to share, benefits that you see. I have seen voters who are brand new citizens who come in who've never had the opportunity to vote before, and how serious they take it and how grateful they are to have a voice. Two other experiences I had, one woman came in right after having day surgery. She's like, I have to vote. I have to get this vote in. And her friend was with her, and she's like, I've never really voted much, but she ended in the car, like ready to go. She's done with this. The testament. And then recently, it's last election, I had come in who was a victim of domestic violence, and she wanted to register to vote to keep her address hidden. And I spent an hour trying to find any little loophole to get her get this done. And there was
I think we've lost Stephanie's audio.
Oh no.
She was saying her internet was having trouble. Well, there just from those short examples, you can see how you get to help other
okay.
people, like she said.
Yes.
So
Oh, I'm sorry. It disconnected. Just gonna,
we lost you for a minute
yeah,
there.
I lost for a second. So I worked with her for like an hour. We were sort of keeping her kids occupied as I was on the phone with the Board of Elections and things like that. And when there was no other option, she said, I'm going to sign it. So she was literally, we hear stories about people and the right to vote, but she was literally putting her life on the line to register to vote and to vote. And I went home that night just sobbing because you don't see when you're on the outside how sacred the right to vote is. And so to be able to facilitate that and help people exercise their right to vote is a wonderful experience. And I encourage everyone to do it.
Yes, thank you for sharing that. Like I was just saying before, like hearing those experiences and how you can help people have access to that. It's a privilege to be able to be a poll worker and to be able to help people. So thank you for sharing that, and thank you to everybody for being with us today. We look forward to hearing your experiences shared, like Stephanie's, and and just encourage everybody to get out there and vote in their local elections. So thank you, and we'll see you guys next week.